guys, welcome back to Clockwork Noodles for another breakdown of Shadow's House, Season 2, Episode number 8. A very big episode this week as we have a derobing going on. Before we get going, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel because the midway review is up for you guys. Top 3 OP, ED and anime are up already for your viewing pleasure. And very shortly we're going to have the end of season review where I look back at summer as a whole, tell you guys what my top 3 animes are, talk about things that I enjoyed, my favourite moments, my least favourite anime of the season, and then we're going to have a video separate where I look at the next season. Fall is coming our way and there are a lot of good animes coming in our direction. Some very big, heavy, hard-hitting guns, and we've also got a lot of new, unique, original anime coming our way. So I get to talk through that with you guys, tell you what I'm breaking down next season, and also give you some insights on what I predict are going to be sleeper hits or very big rising stars in the world of anime for that video. Let's get straight to it because this week's episode is a big one, I'm not going to lie. I do feel like an idiot with the reveal at the end because I feel like it was actually in plain sight. We were all fooled, presumably half of us were at least fooled anyway, so let's talk about the episode. We're going to start with another peer meeting minus John at this moment in time because obviously John is having a punishment for being in love and proposing to Kate despite the fact there is rules. Those are the rules, so he has to clean the star-bearing room. We are initially told that those with a higher soot output are harder to dispose of. Now this could be really sinister as in how do we destroy them, or it also means by value. So if you've got a high soot output, you could be very valuable to the house. Barbara is one of those who we've seen produces so much of what the house actually makes, so she's invaluable. Her value is very, very important. Yet somehow she still remains as a star bearer and hasn't been called over to the main house just yet. We do get to age shame Barbara and Mary Rose this week because they have been there the longest. I also don't know if it's a yearly thing. It may not be yearly, so they may not be as old as we're thinking. Mary Rose and Barbara to me don't look that old, but I have a very bad habit of not being able to tell how old an animal character is. I can't guess. I'm very bad at guessing. To me, everybody looks like kids. Maybe Mary Rose and Barbara are more approaching 16. Haven't looked at the ages, and I'm sure somebody can give that information in the comments. I did like the moment where Kate unintentionally rhymes. I feel like you've been with a Minako just a little bit too long, but it's the way we all get to laugh it off. The peer meeting is quite fun. We have a lot of laughing going on, a lot of interactions, which I really, really like. We also get to talk a little bit deeper about the idea of marriage, which is where we start to get our first suspects. Something wasn't quite right with these two. This one I wasn't 100% fixed with was the idea that Sarah and Douglas were potential marriage partners, which they probably are because one emits a high soot volume. They suspect that it's more just they wanted to get rid of the bells, and they also were going to be the ones who would gain if this bad event happens. So who stands to gain is what we start to look at here. Plot to eliminate Mary Rose is a bit ironic when we now know that Mary Rose is Master Robe herself. They decided that they wanted to harm everybody. They would then be boosted into top spot. The idea of the marriage system could be used for both gain and nefarious deeds. If I marry you, we could try and knock this person off, therefore we will win. So you might prefer one of the girls as opposed to the other. That one for me didn't make sense. John coming in late decides to dispel absolutely all the hard work. Anyway, we need to really think about these things because if you go to the star bearers and go, this is the person, and get it wrong, you're going to look stupid and they're not going to trust you again to do any more work. So you can't go waving names around without actually having the information to back it up. Scorchers don't naturally turn into phantoms, either forcefully turned into phantoms or it's done by powers. Mary Rose, I don't remember us seeing her powers. I might have considered Louise. She has the ability to control Lou. That would have been another suspect on my list. Just anybody who has the ability to control soot. And even Kate could have been a suspect at that point. She does have the ability to control being able to pick things up or create wings. She seems to have a higher level of control over the soot. I absolutely loved John's reaction to hearing that Barbs and Mary are the oldest in the group. Shock to everybody because I guess nobody's really considered that they would be the oldest people there. There are a few people who just don't seem to age, and both Mary Rose and Barbara I think are very difficult to age in general. Also, we don't know if all the kids in the same group are the same age. Back to square one, we do get our next big hint, our next big clue that Master Robe is hiding fragrance using the idea of flowers. Do have the ability to get them, and they are in the greenhouse through a bit of shade in Margaret's direction because she was the one who gave the flower to Patrick in the first place. She didn't quite tick all the boxes. Yes, she didn't like Belle. Seemed very, very timid. It didn't really strike me as her having the ability to go out and try and cause a lot of damage. I was initially going by the idea of height. Mary Rose is one of the taller characters. With the combined efforts of both John and Patrick, the group get their suspect. We are kept in suspense. So what did we have to go on? One, they had to be a child. They were using flowers to cover their scent. It means it had to be a scent that was discernible. We are told that nobody is able to tell what the adults smell like because they don't have access to those scents on the list. Adult wouldn't have the need to cover their scent. Emilico also notices something. The face is clean. Didn't hit me initially, but yeah, Rosemary walks in, she's possessed. She didn't have soot on her face, which is a bit weird. If there's a phantom coming your way and there's soot's going everywhere, why wouldn't your face be sooty? Master Robe decides to leave a clue. Sneaky edits to the map that we're given. It did remind me a bit of the Marauders map. The clue leads us to a flower bed. What is written is, let's meet again where that which is wicked was shattered, is the coffee. They wanted to destroy the coffee. They either A, want to stop the merging, or B, they don't like the grandfather. I figured it had to be one of the two. Barbara, sadly, like myself, is very short. I did wipe Barbara out quite quickly. Mary Rose, I gave a pass because of the height, but then it's revealed that Master Robe's able to control their height as well. Sadly, I was hoping it was going to be one of the other characters they'd mentioned who had vanished. I think it is the case that they've just been sent over to the main house. It's just taboo to talk about them because they've gone. Not because they've done something really bad, they're just gone. The conversation between Mary Rose, aka Master Robe, and the group. We talk about the idea of morph. I was wondering if it was similar to a snake where you get different variants of shadows, different variants of soot, creating different personalities. We have been told that both Master Robe and Kate are special. A morph is the first phase, that soot phase, before they start to mimic a human, where they forget their own memories that they were ever anything more than just a human or a shadow, a noble shadow. Both Master Robe and Kate remember the times of when they were soot, hidden from the rest of the group. We do start to build a bit of tension between the group. It seems like Kate doesn't trust anybody. Master Robe tells us that they view the Shadow's house as just a house of kidnappers. Is the case. They are kidnapping people from a nearby group under the guise that they're going to go and serve, being looked after. They might even have the entire village brainwashed by the coffee, so that's why they don't actually ask any questions like, why hasn't my kid come back? Why do they never write to us? Master Robe has seen the truth. They've been there long enough to see the entire truth of the whole matter, and they also remember their first soot memories. Master Robe uses the tension between Kate to start causing a bit of tension in our plot. Kate is apparently no better than the Shadows. She's using her powers to look down on people, feel superior, and of course she's withholding information, which again could be down to her just fearing losing her friends, losing her trust, is where we get our derobing. Mary Rose is our culprit. Let's review all of the facts because of course there's a lot of information that now we know. Of course it could be no one but this person. The one who kicks off the entire chain of events is when we have Rosemary come in. She kicks off the whole events. She's the one who kicks off the whole event, so the one who starts it is probably the one who actually is behind the whole event. Sadly, this is where we're also seeing that Mary Rose actually hurts her face. She left a lot of humans in critical condition, despite the fact that she is angry at the kidnapping and she's angry about the coffee. She does hurt a lot of humans in the process. I am shocked by this reveal, but it does make sense because she is one of the oldest. She's been there long enough to uncover secrets unaffected by the coffee's effect, so she's the one who's not drinking any of the coffee. She isn't a star bearer. She hasn't even been promoted. There's a reason why she's not being promoted up, whether it's the case that she's not trying to be promoted or she doesn't want to be invited to the other house. In the ED, we have both Barbara and Mary Rose, whole ED dedicated to both characters, but we've had no real interaction with Mary Rose, so it was really weird that we'd have a ED with a character who we hadn't really had any information if they weren't going to play a very big role. She remembers the soot days, so she knows that they were all kidnapped at some point. There is this big issue that she goes around hurting people. She knows the layout because she is older. She has a link to the group, Emilico's group, because she was one of the first ones who started teaching them, being there for them and actually guiding them along. I'm a little disappointed. It does make sense because she is in the ED. The ED should have been a big enough clue because Barbara's in it, yes, and they might just be in the same peer group, but it would be really weird to put another shadow in that ED if they weren't going to play a big role of some sort. Up until this point, she still hasn't played a big role. We haven't really seen her interacting with Barbara or anything. A little bit weird that these were the characters that were on the front of the ED who had an entire song dedicated to them. What is Mary Rose trying to achieve? Is she trying to bring down the grandfather? Because she doesn't really seem to be going about it in a very good way. Yeah, you're trying to shatter the coffee so people can't drink, but more coffee's going to come along. Are you just going to end up attacking that coffee every time it comes down to a rejoicing party? Kate might be able to talk some sense into her and work alongside with her. She has committed some crimes that have caused people to get seriously hurt. Right now, her face is still in critical condition. We've still got the Bells being forced to clean out and go through a horrific traumatic event of them getting possessed, having to get flushed. The flushing from the system looks absolutely nasty. These guys are still being punished for something which isn't their fault. They are completely innocent. They're just bad people. They didn't commit a bad crime. They're just a-holes. This is this week's episode. It's going to be interesting to see where the next 4 episodes go, because we are approaching the end of the season, which is sad because I love this anime. I almost feel like we haven't covered much ground, but I guess a lot has happened because we've had a lot of plot reveals, but it does feel like not a lot has happened in the plot actively until I guess these last 4 episodes where something might go down. Maybe Mary Rose is going to make more of a stand. It's going to be very interesting to see where the plot goes from here. Absolutely love this anime. Thank you guys too. You guys are always a pleasure to talk to. A lot more chatting is going on the videos, which makes me very happy. I love this anime. This anime is fantastic. I like the mystery. I love the way it's portrayed. I love the fact as well that they did so much to make you feel claustrophobic, to feel trapped in the house. I completely forgot there was an outside world. Really enjoying this. Can't wait to see what happens next week. Thank you guys so much. I will see you guys again in another breakdown. Take care of yourselves. Bye bye, guys.